Hey guys, how's it going? Alex here with Big Money Theory. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. Today I would like to talk to you about a stock that I already mentioned on my channel a couple times. But today, I would like to do a deep dive into the company, go through investment presentation, as well as cover the latest news. I will also share my opinion about the company and let you know what I think is going to happen to the company in the future. But there are a few things I would like to mention first. First of all, this is a penny stock. So penny stocks are high risk, high rewards. The stock can gain a lot of momentum, it can make a lot of money, but sometimes because of volatility, the stock can go down dramatically and it can lose a lot of money as well. During the correction of the market, similar to what we have right now, we can see that penny stocks were hit the hardest. Second thing is that this video is done for entertainment purposes only. I do introduce the stock to you, but it's your due diligence to do the research. So the stock I'm going to be talking to you about is Hightide Inc., ticker HITIF. We can see that the last trading day, this company went up 4%. And that happened despite the fact that for the past week and a half, the market was really bad for a lot of stocks. We can also see that despite stock market crashing, this company actually went up 10%, which is great results. So what is Hightide? Hightide is an MJ company that has its operation in Canada, Europe, and the United States. They were founded in 2009 and they are growing rapidly. In the first part of the video, we're going to go through investors presentation. And second part of the video, we're going to cover the great news that just came out. So let's jump right into the financials. If we look at the recent financial highlights, we can see that since 2018, the gross profit was continually growing. And we can see that it went from $3 million in 2018 all the way up to $9 million in third quarter of 2020. And we can see also that the net income was negative for the past year and a half, but in the third quarter of 2020, we finally get plus $4 million. Another important thing is the total assets. We can see that the total assets were growing from $25 million all the way to $75 million in the third quarter of 2020, which are great numbers, and that shows us that this company is constantly growing. This company is established in all downstream markets. Company Hightide, they actually have a bunch of smaller brands that belongs to the company. They did a bunch of acquisitions and also startups. We can see that bricks and mortar is represented by Canna, New Leaf, Meta, and Kush Bar, as well as online sales are represented by Grass City and CBD City. The bricks and mortar stores are Canada's largest recreational cannabis retail network by revenue, and Grass City is the world's premier online store, as well as CBD City is their newest addition. They also have a wholesaler called Valiant, which is a global distributor and manufacturer of accessories and lifestyle products. This investor's presentation have a bunch of information, their goals, timelines. Then they're going to be talking about each store they have, what's great about each store and each division, but what I'm interested in the wholesale. So this company is the first to secure licenses from movie studios, musicians, and other celebrities. And the licenses they currently have are from Snoop Dogg, Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke, Trailer Park Boys, Kevin Smith, Guns N' Roses, Hellboy, The Beach Bum, and etc. They also manufacture and distribution. More than 80% of the customers are in the United States. And they are a key supplier to the Ontario Cannabis Store. So how those products look like? Something like this. You can see that they're selling accessories with your favorite characters from Trailer Park Boys, like here, or Jay and Silent Bob, or maybe Snoop Dogg Pounds. This, in my opinion, is great because a lot of companies, they're selling kind of generic accessories. And here, if you have a favorite show, you can just buy one. That's actually a good selling point. They also have some great strategic partners, in particular ATP Financial and BMO. After reading their investor presentation, I can tell you guys that this company is growing rapidly and they're laser focused on becoming one of the biggest sales of MJ in the United States and Canada. Now let's talk about some great news they had lately. But before we get into the news, I would ask you to smash that like button. It's not going to cost you anything, but it will help my channel to grow. Also, if you like what I heard, leave a comment and maybe consider subscribing to the channel so you will never miss another episode of me covering some great stocks. Now let's jump into the news. So one of the news that came out January 29th this year is that Hightide purchased third US-based e-commerce site called Smoke Cartel. The deal totaling in $8 million consisted of $2 million in cash and $6 million in stocks of Hightide Inc. This deal grants Hightide access to Smoke Cartel's dropshipping technology, which the company will implement across their e-commerce platforms. So all of the e-commerce platforms, including Grass City and CBD City, that belong to Hightide will include that dropshipping technology. The agreement also gives the company access to over 1 million email contacts and 550,000 customers across the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, and Mexico, which is huge. That can potentially provide hundreds of thousands of sale leads. Next, on February 22nd, Hightide announced that they have a closing of the $23 million bought deal equity financing. So what happened there? Hightide issued an aggregate of almost 48 million units at the price of 0.48 cents per unit, and that gave them a gross profit of $23 million. They plan to use that money to open more local stores in Canada and possibly increasing their sales in the United States. Another great news came out February 23rd. Hightide significantly improved its balance sheet as $20 million of debt has converted into the equity. So what happened there is actually very, very big for the company. During the period February 1st, 2021 to February 19, 2021, various holders of convertible debentures totaling almost $20 million have converted their debt into common shares of Hightide. So what it means, Hightide owed money to someone. Let's say they owed money to the bank, maybe they also owed money to the investors. So instead of paying that money back in cash and paying the fees and interest on top of that money, all those investors decided to exchange the debt into the Hightide shares, which is great news for the company. So what that means is Hightide owed money to investors and let's say financial institutions. So instead of paying that money back in cash, plus fees, plus interest, those investors and financial companies decided to convert that debt into the Hightide shares. That means that those investors truly believe in the company and then they think that the stock price of the Hightide gonna go up and they're gonna have a greater return than instead of getting just money back plus interest. Considering that Hightide market cap is only $380 million, getting $20 million of debt off their books and actually converting it into the stocks is huge for the company. That means more and more people, not just retail investors as me and you, believe in this company, but also financial institutions. And now let's see the latest news that just came out a couple days ago. One of the ATB Capital Markets analyst, David Kittikel, updated his price target and raised it from 60 cents to $1.2 per share, and saying that cannabis retailer is poised for the growth. This price target of 1.2 United States dollars per stock is actually the highest price ever been given by stock analysts. Another great news is ahead of Hightide's fourth quarter results due to March 1st, the company provided preliminary revenue guidance on February 18th, saying its fiscal quarter 4th, ended on October 21st, 2020, would be ahead of a range of analysis estimates between $23 and $24 million. That means Hightide already told us that they're going to beat their estimates, and we're probably going to hear some great results on March 1st. If we go back to the chart, we can see in the past 5 days, the stock actually grew, despite a lot of companies dipping badly and losing a lot of value. Hightide kept up and is actually on the uptrend. Considering the latest great news and the increased price target, I think that we can easily see this company doubling or maybe tripling within the next few months. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I heard, please leave a like, drop a comment, consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for your time and have a great day.